can't start that. Hello, welcome to WUPJ-TV's Comedy Night. I'm Rachel. We have the best stand-up comedians on campus, and they're here to make you laugh for the next half hour. Let's get started with today's show with Alex.
All right, my name is Alex Pravocek, and I'm going to tell you some really original jokes that you've never heard before. A Mexican magician says he would disappear on the count of 3. He says, uno, dos, poof. He disappeared without a trace. Why do blind people hate skydiving?
Why?
It scares the hell out of their dogs. Before you criticize someone, walk a mile in their shoes. That way when you do criticize them, you're a mile away and have their shoes. What do you call a dog with his magic tricks? A labracadabrador. I bought the world's worst thesaurus yesterday. Not only is it terrible, it's terrible. 2 men met on opposite sides of a river. One shouts to the other, I need you to help me get to the other side. The other guy replies, you are on the other side. I want to die peacefully in my sleep like my grandfather did. Not screaming in terror like the passengers in his car. I bought some shoes from a drug dealer. I don't know what he laced them with, but I've been tripping all day. What do you call a black man flying a plane? A pilot, you racist. Apparently someone in London gets stabbed every 52 seconds. Poor bastard. What's green, fuzzy, and if it fell out of a tree would kill you? A pool table. What's black and screams? Stevie Wonder answering the iron. Want to hear a word I just made up? Plagiarism. Why does a chicken coop have 2 doors? If it had 4 doors, it would be a chicken sedan. And finally, 2 electric windmills are standing in a field. One turns to the other and asks, what kind of music do you like? The second one replies, I'm a huge metal fan.
Thanks, Alex. Don't worry, there's lots more laughs here on WUPJ-TV's Comedy Night. Coming up next, it's Nick.
Say something about how cute I am.
His intense love for sandwiches is undeniable.
Okay. This is the only one I like. So this one, Heisenberg, Schrodinger, and Ohm are all driving in a car, right? They get pulled over. Cop walks up to him and says, do you know how fast you were going? Heisenberg says, no, but I know exactly where we are. Then he says, you were going 55 and a 30. He goes, great, now I'm lost. So because this seemed a little suspicious, the cop's like, pop the trunk. So he pops the trunk. He goes, whoa! You know, got a dead cat back here? Schrodinger goes, no, we do. So this is all weird. The cop's like, I'm going to arrest all you guys. Home resisted. What's up? You guys like impressions?
No.
Why?
I was kidding.
That was Socrates. A friend of mine said, what rhymes with orange? And I said, no, it doesn't. A physicist saw a guy at the top of the Empire State Building getting ready to jump off, and he said, don't do it! You have so much potential. Have you heard about the superhero who has a lisp and works out a lot? He said, I'm Thor. What's the difference between a hippo and a Zippo? Hippos are really heavy. Zippos are a little lighter. What's black and white and 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 black and white? A penguin rolling down a hill. What's black and white and laughing? The penguin that kicked his ass down there. How does Harry Potter get down a hill? Walks. JK, roll. What's the difference between a golfer and a skydiver? A golfer says, whack. Shucks. Skydiver says, shucks. Whack. Why did the salad go to the studio? To make some beats. What's up? Whenever I was younger, I felt like I was a man trapped in a woman's body, and then I was born and everything got solved. I don't like babushka dolls because they're really full of themselves. These suck so bad. How you make antifreeze? Steal her blanket. I can't think of anything that resembles straw, but hey. Alright, this is my last one. This is my closer. What do you find at a haunted beach? A sandwich.
Thanks, Nick. Don't worry, there's lots of laughs where that came from, here on WUPJ-TV's Comedy Night. Next up is me. Okay, so probably heard this one in like middle school. How do you put a giraffe in the refrigerator? You open the door, you put the giraffe in, you shut the door. Okay, how do you put an elephant in the refrigerator? You open the door, you take the giraffe out, you put the elephant in, and you close the door. Okay, so the king of the jungle calls this big birthday party. It's his birthday. He invites everyone in the jungle. Who doesn't show up? The elephant. You put him in the refrigerator. So, little Jane, she's roaming with Tarzan, and she gets invited as well. But in order to get to the Lion King's birthday party, she has to cross a crocodile-infested river. What happens? She's fine. The crocodiles are already there. Okay, that was... Okay. See, most of my jokes are pretty cheesy, but it's bad because most of my friends are lactose intolerant. I'm stumped myself.
You're out of jokes?
I did not prepare well. Do you have more? Cool. Okay. It's the difference between a poorly dressed man on a tricycle and a well-dressed man on a bicycle. A tire. Okay. No, that's not a joke. That's like a deep philosophical story. Oh, pirate jokes. Okay. What did the pirate say when he turned 80? Aye, matey. What do you call a pirate who has 2 eyes and 2 legs? A rookie. That was the only pirate one. Someone stole my Microsoft Office and they're gonna pay. You have my word. Have you heard of the band? 1023 MB megabytes? Me either. They haven't gotten a gig yet.
That's a good.
What did the ear of corn say when all its clothes fell off? Aw, shucks. You're over there already laughing. Is it 2 minutes yet?
Yes.
Okay. Didn't I do a great job? I'm Rachel, and you're watching WUPJ-TV's Comedy Night. And coming up next, it's another great comedy star. Here's Tyler.
Alright. So my jokes are a little longer. My name's Tyler.
Shit, I forgot to say my name. Did I forget to say my name? Did I say it?
I don't remember.
Me
I always
either.
don't remember.
Let's just go with I did.
Okay. Can you start over?
My name's Tyler. a woman was taking an afternoon nap. When she woke up, she told her husband, "I just dreamed that you gave me a pearl necklace. What do you think it means?" "You'll know tonight," he said. That evening, a man comes home with a small package and gave it to his wife. Delighted, she opened up to find a book entitled The Meaning of Dreams. The teacher says to her students, "Kids, what does the chicken give you?" "Meat." "Very good. Now what does the pig give you?" "Bacon." "Great. And what does the fat cow give you?" "Homework." My friend thinks he is smart. He told me an onion was the only food that can make you cry, so I threw a coconut at his face. A child asks his father, "How were people born?" So his father says, "Adam and Eve made babies, and when they grew up to be adults, they made babies, and so on and so forth." The child then went to his mother and asked the same question. She told him, "We were monkeys and we evolved to become like we are now." The child ran back to his father and said, "You lied to me." He goes, "No, your mom was talking about her side of the family." A teacher is teaching a class and sees Johnny isn't paying attention. So she asks him, "There are 3 ducks sitting on a fence and you shoot one of them. How many are left?" He said, "None." Teacher asks why. He goes, "Well, you shot at them and scared them away." He goes, "No, 2, but I like the way you're thinking." Johnny asks the teacher, "Do you see 3 women walking out of an ice cream parlor? One is licking her ice cream, one is sucking her ice cream, and one is biting her ice cream. Which one is married?" Teacher replied, "The one sucking her ice cream." He goes, "No, the one with the wedding ring, but I like how you're thinking." Alright, the IRS decides to audit Grandpa and summons him to the IRS office. The auditor was not surprised to see Grandpa showed up with his attorney. The auditor said, "Well, sir, you have an extravagant lifestyle and no full-time employment, which you explain by saying you get money from gambling. I'm not sure the IRS believes this. I'm a great gambler. I can prove it to you. How about a demonstration?" The auditor thinks for a moment and says, "Okay, go ahead." Grandpa says, "I'll bet you $1,000 I can bite my own eye." The auditor thinks for a moment and said, "It's a bet." Grandpa removes his glass eye and bites it. The auditor's jaw drops. Grandpa says, "Now, I'll bet you $2,000 that I can bite my other eye." Now, the auditor can tell that Grandpa isn't blind, so he takes the bet. Grandpa removes his dentures and bites his good eye. The stunned auditor now realizes that he was wagered and lost $3,000. With Grandpa's attorney as a witness, he starts to get nervous. "Want to double it? Double or nothing?" Grandpa asks. "I bet you $6,000 that I can stand on one side of your desk and pee into the wastebasket on the other side and never get a drop anywhere in between." The auditor, twice burned, is cautious now, but he looks carefully and decides there's no way this old man could possibly manage his son, so he agrees again. Grandpa stands beside the desk and unzips his pants, but although he strains mightily, he can't reach the wastebasket on the other side, so he ends up urinating all over the auditor's desk. The auditor leaps for joy, realizing that he had just turned a major loss into a huge win. But Grandpa's own attorney moans and puts his head in his hands. "Are you okay?" the auditor asks. He goes, "Not really," says the attorney. "This morning when Grandpa told me he was being summoned for an audit, he bet me $25,000 that he could come in here, pee all over your desk, and you'd be happy about it." Alright, that's all the jokes I have.
Thanks, Tyler. If you thought that was funny, just wait till you see who's next. Here's Andrew.
Alright, so speaking of elephants, does anyone know how to catch one? Alright, so you gotta dig a hole big enough to catch an elephant because they're pretty big creatures, right? And then you gotta burn a fire in it because they'll see the smoke and they'll see the fire and they'll be excited and they'll want to run towards it. But you don't want to burn them because you want to capture it. So you make it wait till the fire burns out, make sure it's all ashes. And then elephants like peas. I don't know if any of you knew that. And you line the outside so the smell, they'll want to go eat one. And when the elephant goes to take a pee, you kick him in the asshole. I thought I was gonna be late today, and I was a little bit actually. You know why? I learned never to play hide and go seek with Anne Frank. She's pretty good at it. All right, what's blue and smells like red paint? Blue paint. What's brown and sticky? A stick. Close though. Close. So, you guys know about Mozart, right? The big composer. So, over in Germany, I don't know if you guys heard about this. Over in Germany, they were doing road work, and they went over the part of his burial tomb. They didn't know it. The guys were like, oh, what do we do? Because they dug up his casket. They're like, oh, what do we do? I don't know what to do. So they go to their boss, like, boss, we found Mozart's casket. What are we going to do about it? He goes, let's take a look in it, see what happens. So as they open up the casket, Mozart jumped out and says, stop, I'm decomposing. Now, I was in a quarrel the other day, and I'm not a vicious person. So afterwards, I was like, man, I don't want anything really dangerous to happen to this guy, but I really want some very unfortunate things to happen to him. Like after you put on a fresh pair of socks, you step in a wet puddle. Very unfortunate. Or you go to the grocery store, and whenever you come back, you forget the one thing that you went to the grocery store to get. Things to think about. I am running out of all my jokes. All right. You told me someone stole my chicken coop one. That was like my go-to one. And also, there's a couple of these on here. I hope your laptop dies right before you plug it in. That's unfortunate. I hope someone drives slightly slower than you'd like to on a busy day. I hope your windshield wipers squeak when they're on, but you can't see them. You can't see when they're off. And last but not least, I hope when you pick up a slice of pizza, all the cheese falls off. Thank you. I'm Andrew, by the way.
Thanks, Andrew. WUPJ-TV's Comedy Night is continuing now with more great comedy with Chris.
Hi, my name's Chris, and I'm I'm good with math. All right. So, Mama Tomato, Daddy Tomato, and little son Tomato are walking down the street. Little son Tomato is lagging behind, so Dad goes back to him, steps on him, catch up. Ha ha, ha ha, ha ha. All right, so now I got for you a little Johnny joke. So, need this marker? So, little Johnny's sitting in the back of the class in elementary school. And the teacher says, all right, kids, I want everyone to come up and draw a picture on the board that describes their weekend. So, the first, everyone raises their hand. Teacher calls on the first little girl. First little girl comes up. She draws a little house, some flames on it. Says, yeah, over the weekend I saw my neighbor's house caught on fire, and the fire department came and put it out. Everyone was okay. Oh, that's nice. So she says, okay, who's next? Little Johnny's in the back, waving his hand, going wild. And the teacher doesn't want to call him Little Johnny, so she calls on Jimmy. Jimmy comes up and he draws on the board. Little tree, there's a little cat stuck up here. It says, over the weekend, my cat got stuck in a tree, and the fire department came and get him down and saved him. Oh, okay, that's nice. So at this point, little Johnny's back there just jumping up and down on his desk. So the teacher's like, all right, little Johnny, come on up. So little Johnny runs up to the board, and he does that. Teacher's like, what's that? Little Johnny says, it's a period. And the teacher's like, okay, what's the period about? I don't know, but when my sister didn't get hers, my parents got pretty mad. So, my next little joke. So this girl, not unrelated to this joke, but a girl realized she didn't get her period, so she went to the store, got a pregnancy test. It came out positive. She's like, oh God. So she goes and tells her parents. She's like, hey, it's positive, I'm pregnant. So the dad freaks out. He's like, who is this guy? Who is it? We're gonna go talk to him. And the girl's like, oh, it's this older guy I've been seeing. And they're like, all right, we're going to his house right now. So they go to his house, and they pull up to the front gate. It's a mansion. The dude's a millionaire. So they come into this house, and they tell him the news, and he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. So if it's a boy, I'll give them 4 factories and a new car. If it's a girl, I'll give them 2 factories and 2 new cars. And if a miscarriage, Dad cuts him off and says, you're banging her again. All right. What was my last one? Oh, another little Johnny joke. So little Johnny walks into school, and he sees this crowd of people gathered over there. So he walks over and says, "What's the big deal?" Little Jimmy's showing off his nice new gold watch. You know, real nice, real fancy. He's like, "Jimmy, how'd you get that?" He says, "Oh, well, I walked into my parents' bedroom last night because I couldn't fall asleep. And my dad said he'd give me anything if I got out of there." So I said, "I wanted a watch." So my dad gave me his gold watch. Little Johnny's like, "Huh, I'm going to get a watch off my parents." So he goes home that night, waits till nighttime. He can't sleep, so he goes into his parents' room. And they're like, "Wait, what do you want, little Johnny?" He says, "I want a watch." And parents are like, "All right, just sit in the corner, don't say a word."
That was yucky. I like that a lot.
Thanks, Chris. Don't go away. There's lots more comedy where that came from. Coming up next, it's Kenna.
I'm Kira Patel and I'm going to tell you some jokes today. So once two men have collided. One was very poor and one was very rich man. They had a small conversation. Rich man said, "I have a car, a bungalow, a servant and a nice farmhouse. What do you have?" Poor man said, "You know what? I have a son whose girlfriend is your daughter." Rich man went funny. Okay. Once a little boy called to stranger's home. A little girl picked up the call. Boy said, "Do you have a refrigerator?" Girl said, "Yes, I have." Boy said, "Is it running?" A girl said, "Yes, it is running." Boy said, "Then hold it, otherwise it will run away." And put the phone off and again called back a little. Later, boy said, "Do you have a refrigerator?" Same girl picked up the call and this time she was really angry. She said, "No, I haven't." Boy said, "I told ya that hold it. See, it was gone." Once a wife called his husband and said, "I tried to open Windows lock, but it couldn't open." Husband said, "Do so. Heat some oil and power on it." Wife asked, "Will the lock open from that?" Husband said, "Just try it." After 15 minutes, husband called back and he asked, "Did you try it?" Wife said, "Yes, I tried, but now the laptop is closed." Husband says, "Stupid woman, at least you have to told me that which window you were talking about." Okay. So today's speech is mine, one of the bad speech ever, I think so, because I don't have any kind of sense of humor. All I can say or do is ha ha ha.
Thanks, Kenna. Don't go away. Up next is the pun master himself, Nick.
Alright, hi, I'm Nick. I'm going to tell you some jokes. Why did the sheep go on vacation? Or where did the sheep go to vacation? The Bahamas. Why did the cows like to go to New York? They like to see the musicals on Broadway. What happens to the frog's car when it breaks down? It gets towed. How did the mathematician warm himself up after his heater broke down in the winter? He stood in the corner because it was 90 degrees. What do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. What's the difference between elephants and grapes? Grapes are purple. What do you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef. A bear walks into a bar. Everyone in the bar leaves because of the throat of the bear. The first computer dates back to Adam and Eve. It was an apple with limited memory, just one bite, and then everything just crashed. I was once addicted to the hokey pokey, but I turned myself around. I once ate 2,000 pounds of soup. It was wonton. How do you make a tissue dance? Put a little boogie in it. What do you call a cow during an earthquake? Milkshake. Why did the scientist advise his colleague not to trust the atom? Because they make up everything. That's it. That's all my jokes.
Thanks, Nick. You're watching WUPJ-TV's Comedy Night with the greatest stand-up comics on campus. Coming up next, it's Brian.
Alright, my name is Brian Wells, and I'm going to tell you a couple of jokes up here. So, there's a math teacher, and he's trying to teach his kids some addition. He says, "I give you 2 dogs, 2 more dogs, and then I give you another 2 dogs. how many dogs do you have? The student says, I have 8 dogs. The teacher says, no, listen, I don't think you heard me correctly. I have 2 dogs. I give you 2 more dogs plus another 2 dogs. How many dogs do you have? The student says, I have 8 dogs. This teacher asks, okay, we're going to go about this a different way. You have 2 pieces of paper. I give you another 2 pieces of paper and another 2 pieces of paper. How many pieces of paper do you have? He says, 6. I have 6 pieces of paper. He says, okay, so let's put that concept to the dogs. So I give you 2 dogs, 2 more dogs, and another 2 dogs. How many dogs do you have? I have 8 dogs. What the heck? How don't you get this? He says, I already have 2 dogs before you gave me the 6 dogs. He says, why did the student throw his watch away? He wanted to see time fly. Why did the kid bring a ladder to class? He's in high school, of course. What was the math teacher's favorite plant? The one with square roots. Why is the giraffe failing? His head's always in the clouds. How do you find a chromosome's sex? You just pull its genes down. What happens if you cross Sonic and George? You get too fast, too curious. And this one's a little iffy, but he says, what's the difference between a dead prostitute and high school? High school still sucks.
Thanks, Brian. More laughs just ahead here on WUPJ-TV's Comedy Night. Coming up next, Bobby. Bobby Klein, the science guy.
Hello everyone, my name is Bobby Klein, and I'd like to start off with a knock-knock joke. Knock-knock.
Who's there?
Deja.
Deja.
Knock-knock. Okay. Alright, so what do you feed a dog to make it be quiet?
What?
Hush puppies. What do you feed a dog to make it stay quiet longer? Chocolate. Why is dark spelled D-A-R-K and not D-A-R-C? You can't see in the dark. Did I ever mention that I have a one-legged sister? Her name is Eileen. What's worse than it raining cats and dogs? Hailing taxis. What do you call a cat that goes bowling? An alley cat. Why did the cat run away from the tree? Was afraid of its bark. How do cats get over a fight? They hiss and make up. And, here I have a couple programming related ones. What's an object-oriented way to become rich? Inheritance. Why did the programmer quit his job? Because he didn't get a raise. Did you guys hear about the programmer that got stuck in the shower? He got stuck in the shower because the bottle said, lather, rinse, repeat. And last computer-related one. Why did the computer show up late to work? It had a hard drive. Alright. Why does yogurt love going to the museum? Because it's cultured. Why did the dieter go to the paint store? Wanted to get thinner. Recently I went to a seafood restaurant and slept, and I think I pulled a muscle. I was going to start growing an herb garden, but I couldn't find the thyme. What do you call a bear without an ear? A bee. And I wrote a song about a tortilla. Well, actually it's kind of a rap. And to close, I have a one-word joke. Sedexa.
Thanks, Bobby. You're watching WUPJ-TV's Comedy Night. Coming up next, it's Mitch.
Alright, so my name is Mitch Reinoff, and an engineer dies and reports to the pearly gates. An intern angel, filling in for St. Peter, checks his dossier and grimly says, "Ah, you're an engineer. You're in the wrong place." So the engineer was cast down to the gates of hell and was let in. Pretty soon the engineer became greatly dissatisfied with the level of comfort in hell, because, it's hell, and began designing and building improvements. After a while, the underworld had air conditioning, flush toilets, and escalators, and the engineer was becoming a pretty popular guy among the demons. One day, God called Satan up on the telephone and asked with a sneer, "So how's it going down there in hell?" Satan laughs and replies, "Hey, things are going great. We got air conditioning, flush toilets, and escalators, and there's no telling what this engineer is going to come up with next." God's face clouded over and he exploded, "What? You got an engineer? That's a mistake. He should never have gotten down there. Send him up here now." Satan shook his head and said, "No way. I like having an engineer on the staff, and I'm keeping him." God was mad as he ever was, and he said, "There's no way. This is not the way things are supposed to work, and you know it. Send him up back here, or I'll sue." Satan laughs and goes, "Yeah, right, and where are you going to find a lawyer?" So little Johnny goes into school one day and starts talking with all of his classmates, telling them about how his dog got hit in the ass last night. Almost dies. And teacher looks at little Johnny and goes, "You shouldn't swear like that. You should say rectum. That's the correct way of saying it." He goes, "Rectum? Damn near killed him." So Penguin takes his car to the mechanic because, he's having problems with it. The mechanic lets him know it's going to take about an hour to get it finished. So Penguin starts looking around. He realizes once he looks out the window, there's a 7-Eleven across the street. So, he figures, hey, I'll kill some time. I'll go to that 7-Eleven. So he goes over to get an ice cream because, penguins love ice cream. But the problem is they don't have thumbs. So he had to eat it with his long beak. So he goes walking back across the road and goes back to talk to the mechanic. And the mechanic looks at him and goes, "Hey, looks like you blew a seal." He goes, "No, it's just a little bit of ice cream."
I could have told my dear joke. Man.
Thanks, Mitch. Don't worry, there's lots more laughs where that came from. Here on WUPJ-TV's Comedy Night. Coming up next, it's Natalie.
Happy Ides of March. My name's Natalie Celsi, and I'm going to tell some jokes. Where do crayons go on vacation? Colorado. What does a nosy pepper do? Get jalapeno business. What do you call a mountain of kittens? A mountain. What gets wetter the more it dries? A towel. What earns a living driving their customers away? A taxi driver. What did baby corn say to the mama corn? Where's Papa Corn? What do you call sad coffee? Espresso. How do you make holy water? You boil the hell out of it. What is the tallest building in the world? The library, because it has the most stories, like the tallest tales. Yeah. How do you make an octopus laugh? With tentacles. What belongs to you but others use more? Your name. Why did the banana go to the doctor? Because it was not peeling well. What do you get when you cross a snowman with a vampire? Frostbite. What do you call an illegally parked frog? A toad.
Thanks, Natalie. I'm Rachel, and you're watching WUPJ-TV's Comedy Night. And coming up next, another great comedy star. Here's Dakota.
Alright, my name's Dakota. I'm going to tell you a couple jokes. Why does Hillary Clinton prefer dogs over Bill? Dogs chase their own tail. There's a term for presidents like Trump. Probably not 2 terms, though. What do you get when you cross the Atlantic Ocean with the Titanic? Half wet. What do you get when you cross A-Rod with Chris Brown? A cheater woman beater. What did Helen Keller's room look like? She had no clue either. I asked my North Korean friend how it was there. He said he couldn't complain. I have an EpiPen. My friend gave it to me when he was dying. It seemed very important to him that I have it. Unexpected sex is a great way to wake up if you're not in prison. What do two Southerners say after breaking up? Let's just be cousins. If Helen Keller fell down the woods, would she make a sound? I think that's actually all I have.
I am a sucker for a good Helen Keller.
Thanks, Dakota. If you thought that was funny, just wait till you see who's next. Here's Blake with jokes from the 60s.
Alright, so now I do regret not telling some pretty bad jokes. But anyway, my name's Blake, and I'm going to tell you some jokes from the 60s. Even in the 60s, they made fun of Americans, I guess. From the dark came the voice of a sentry. Halt, who goes there? An American was replied. The voice says, is that so? Well, advance and recite the second verse of the Star-Spangled Banner. The guy says, I don't know it. The voice says, proceed, American. So, this is from a divorce trial record. The wife says, we were happy for more than a year, Your Honor. And then the baby came. The court says, boy or girl? The wife says, girl. She was blonde and moved in next door. The patient asks the doctor, Doctor, did you ever make a serious mistake? The doctor replies, yes, I once cured a millionaire in 3 visits. These are bad, I know. The guy goes to the doctors and says, Doc, I just dropped in to tell you how much your treatments helped me. Doctor says, but you're not a patient of mine. The guy says, I know, but my uncle was, and I'm his heir. So, a Pittsburgh businessman had to go to New York to attend a conference. His wife stated her desire to accompany him. Well, he says, but I'll be tied up nearly all the time, he protested. And I thought this one was going to get dirty, but it doesn't. He says, you wouldn't enjoy going at all. And then she replies, oh yes I would, trying to argue with him. She says, I'll spend my time buying clothes and shopping. He says, what, go all the way to New York for clothes? And she says, he continues to say, that's silly. You can buy everything you need right here. And she says, oh, I was hoping you'd say that. The lawyer hands a guy his bill. Says, here's my bill for my services. Says, you can pay me $500 down and a balance of $60 per month for 2 years. The guy says, sounds like I'm buying an automobile. And the lawyer replies, I am. So this one's, these are all just very punchliney, and that's it. This isn't my style, but. What are the chances of my recovering, doctor? Doctor replies, 100%. Medical records show that 9 out of 10 with this disease survive. And he says, you're the 10th case I've treated. The others all died, so you're going to be good. you call it when all the new Army recruits get their hair cut? A hair raid. What do you call somebody who looks in both directions before running a red light? Careful driver. And finally, the lamest one of them all. What do you call a poor man with money? A rich man. Thank you.
Thanks, Blake. WUPJ-TV's Comedy Night is continuing now with more great comedy with Mike.
Hi, I'm Mike Leach. I'm going to tell you some terrible jokes. Why couldn't the blonde add 10 plus 5 to a calculator? She couldn't find the 10 button. So there's Patty and Murphy having a pint in the pub when some scuba divers come on the TV. Patty says to Murphy, "Why is it them sea divers don't always sit on the side of the boat with them air tanks on their backs and fall backwards out of the boat?" Murphy thinks for a minute and says, "That's easy because they still be in the frickin' boat." The past, present, and future walk into a bar. That was tense. What do you call a cow that just gave birth? Decaffeinated. What do you call security guards working outside Samsung shops? Guardians of the Galaxy. What nails do carpenters hate to hit? Fingernails. So my dad has one leg and just got a job. I asked him, "Where'd you get the job?" He said, "IHOP." A kid is cursing on the phone with his friend. His mom hears him and yells, "You're gonna get beat." He tells his friend, "I'm getting spooned tonight." That's it, thanks.
Thanks, Mike. Don't go away. There's lots more comedy before we're done. We're closing the show with Sam.
I'm Sam Caplia. So, just as a precursor to this whole comedy skit thing, everyone's doing a similar thing. This is gonna kind of be how the next 2 minutes goes. So it's gonna be joke. Exactly. So I peaked in elementary school. I'm just saying that now. And I mean, who didn't, right? Who didn't peak in elementary school? Like, you can eat 3 chicken nuggets and you're full. It's great, right? You have 2 chicken nuggets to take home, right? Everything's great. You have recess. You can play around. It's amazing. You can punch someone in the face and no one cares, right? It's great. So I'm in elementary school, right? And I'm a stud, okay? I was like this high. I think I was shorter than every girl in the whole grade. But I had hair down, luscious hair down to my shoulders, right? I could do this thing where I would flip it and then go like that and it would part. Great. That's not a lie. It's true. So I used to like to wear the same shirt every single Friday, right? Because it was the coolest shirt in the world, and it was, 5 reasons I wear pink, and the last one was because I'm tough enough to wear pink, right? I had like a friend or something, maybe. No one liked it. I was a loser, but I had this girlfriend, and she was something, okay? This girlfriend, she was what? Elementary school, maybe 8, 10, right? So we did everything together, right? We would go in recess. One time we got into trouble, though, okay? So we were at recess and we were making fun of some kid or something. I don't remember exactly, but so we get in trouble and we go into the office, me and my 8-year-old girlfriend. So we're sitting in the office and the principal comes in, right? And she goes to this girl. I mean, it's been so long, I actually forget her name. But she goes, "Honey, you didn't do anything. You can leave." And she looks at me and goes, "You're 19. Why are you playing with a bunch of kids?" I was like, thank you.
That's all, folks. Have a great night.
Who said that on the Looney Tunes? That's all, folks. Well, that was the pig.
Yeah, that was the pig.
What's his name? Porky.
That's all.
Porky. Gosh darn pig. Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Keep going. We're still running. It's still good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
No, see, now I feel awkward.